Donald Trump has shut down the White House, kicked out the press, called the lid, basically banning the press from being anywhere near him right now as all hell is breaking loose in his disastrous and catastrophic war in Iran. Donald Trump is being described as in the Oval Office with national security officials and other top defense officials, which really includes people who are unqualified or sycophants at this point, because Donald Trump has gotten rid of 26 top generals and admirals over the past 14 months. Most of his joint chiefs have been eliminated. And we know even over the past 48 hours, he and Pete Hegseth have gotten rid of some of the top generals and top people in the military in just the past 48 hours. 2 aircraft have been shot down over Iran, an A-10C and an F-15E. Fortunately, the A-10 pilot is safe. One of the F-15 pilots was found in a search and rescue operation and is safe. Another F-15 pilot, as of this recording, is still missing. We also know that 2 helicopters were severely damaged that were involved in the search and rescue operation. These are the Air Force HH-60G Pavehawk combat search and rescue helicopters. In addition, Iran is claiming that it struck and shot down an F-16 plane. And normally I would say, well, they're probably making that up. And that's not true because the U.S. is denying it. Well, we're getting so much incorrect and false information from the United States about the amount of people who have been injured, about the damage that's being done to Air Force bases, helicopters, consulates, embassies. Everything that this Trump regime is spewing seems to be false. And it is deeply tragic where even the Wall Street Journal editor at large is saying how depressing that we now come to trust information from Iran more than the United States in this war. But that's what Donald Trump has done. Meanwhile, we're learning that Iran still maintains most of its ballistic missile capability, most of its drone, the Shaheeds and FPV drone capabilities. It's got a lot of unmanned vessel capabilities to shoot in the Strait of Hormuz. It's controlling the Strait of Hormuz with an iron fist right now. And I'm going to do another video on this in about 90 minutes or so. But other world leaders are saying, how do we do bilateral deals or other types of deals, maybe as a bloc with Iran, because we no longer trust the United States to offer any security umbrella at all. Well, let's go through the facts one by one. So whether you're reading the Times of Israel, this is how they're reporting it, just if you want to get a perspective. White House announces Trump won't appear before media on Friday as search efforts continue. The White House called a lid for the press, indicating Trump's not making any appearances. It came hours earlier than normal. And we're also learning, Selena Wang reported how senior White House officials say that Donald Trump's national security team is gathered at the White House. Trump's been working in the Oval Office or Oval Dining Room all day, receiving updates, the official adds. No public comments from Trump outside of social media posts. And the social media post that he would make would be like, should I take the oil? ? Or I'm going to take all of their oil. I mean, things that are just so inflammatory, bragging about war crimes. It was 2 days ago where he was bragging about blowing up the biggest bridges of Iran. And if you don't give me the Strait of Hormuz, I'm going to continue to blow up more of your bridges. Iran's like, do it. Do what you got to do. That's not going to force us to surrender. You have MB Ghalibaf, the head of Iran's parliament. This is the guy that Donald Trump lied and said that, what else is new? But Trump said, I'm negotiating with MB Ghalibaf, reasonable guy. Iran's like, dude, we're not negotiating with you, Donald. Iran made it, again, very public yesterday. They announced no negotiations with the United States are taking place. Yes, Donald Trump is trying to force Pakistan upon us. to negotiate, but we don't want to speak to Pakistan. We're not going to Islamabad. We're not going to meet with J.D. Vance. We don't trust you, United States, because the last two times we negotiated with you and we thought there was a deal reached by a mediator who, by the way, you selected the neutral. You picked the mediator, United States, after reaching a deal. That's when you invaded and bombed us with Israel. Not once, but you did it twice. So J.D. Vance, you could hang out with Viktor Orban right before the Hungary election, but we don't want to see you. Iran communicated no discussions with Pakistan about mediations. It ain't happening. But you knew that if you were watching the MeidasTouch network, right? By the way, make sure you subscribe to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. You may think you're subscribed, but you may not actually be subscribed. Help us get to 7 million subscribers. Going back to Iran's parliament leader, MB Ghalibaf, writes, after defeating Iran 37 times in a row, this brilliant no-strategy war they started has now been downgraded from regime change to, hey, can anyone find our pilots, please? Please? Wow. What incredible progress, Donald. Absolute geniuses. Absolute geniuses. He also writes, MB Ghalibaf writes, Iran's parliament leader, what share of oil, LNG, wheat, rice, and fertilizer shipments transits the Bab el-Mandeb Strait? Which countries and companies account for the highest transit volumes through the strait? So we've always been talking about the Strait of Hormuz, right? That's in the Persian Gulf. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz now as a result of this disastrous war backfiring on Donald Trump. Iran has a toll system. It won't let any allies of the U.S. and Israel through, but it's letting allies that pay it, that are allied with Iran, go through if you negotiate bilaterally with Iran. Strait of Hormuz effectively shut down. Otherwise, that's one of the main reasons that the price per barrel of oil goes up, right? The international price per barrel of oil, the Brent and the WTI are many ways interrelated. Ultimately, that leads to the price that you pay for gas going up. We should be talking about the Red Sea. We are at the MeidasTouch network. In the past, the Houthis of Yemen, basically a proxy group of Iran, they control a lot of Yemen. There's different factions in Yemen. I won't get into the history, but the Houthis control a lot of Yemen. There's basically a truce going on there in a long-standing civil war, but they're the closest to the Red Sea. They've showed that they're able to shut down lots of commerce from the Red Sea if they want. They haven't been activated to do that. So Ghalibaf's saying, you want to keep this up? You want to blow up our bridges, Donald? Get ready for us shutting down the Red Sea. The effect of that would send the price per barrel of oil, whether we're talking about Brent oil, WTI crude, maybe $200 per barrel, which would mean $5, $6 per gallon on average for your gas. That's what it would result in. And as noted before, Donald Trump, just by the fact that all of these aircraft and helicopters have been hit, that just goes to show you that Trump has not totally obliterated or decimated Iran's capabilities. And Iran's been able to keep a lot of it underground. Most of its ballistic missile, drone capabilities are all there underground. That's where it's at right now. And I could show you any country with large Shiite populations as well, or I could show you the support or the support for Iran right now in the Middle East region as amongst the people. And again, you may not like to see this, but you need to know what's happening. I've showed you before the pro-regime, anti-U.S. and Israel protests in Iran. You could be like, well, Ben, that's propaganda. There sure is a lot of people out there. Okay, they've been able to gather a lot of people. That's the sole purpose that I'm going to show you. Trump and Netanyahu said that it was going to be all these protests against the regime. It would happen. They would love Trump and Netanyahu to run Iran. Okay, that ain't happening. I'll show you a scene from Syria, where Israeli forces, they hit the area. They killed a child in a Syrian town. And you can see the protests right here. Third, fourth day in a row, protesters continue in Syria, also condemning the Israeli law that allows the execution of Palestinian captives. I mean, just look at the size of these crowds here. Here, play this clip. Now, with all of this going on, right, with Iran continuing to strike the Arab nation neighbors that are allied with the U.S., with Iran essentially meme warring Donald Trump, like beating Donald Trump at the troll game on social media, right? What are the Trumps doing right now, right? What are they doing? Well, as PBS reports, a drone maker backed by Donald Trump's two oldest sons, they're very focused right now on trying to sell to the Gulf countries while they are still under attack by Iran and dependent on the U.S. military led by their father. That's the American security umbrella right now. Donald Trump and his kids. Still, you have Zelensky in Ukraine, who actually has the best drone interceptor technology, the best drone technology probably in the world, best unmanned vessel technology in the world, all the experience because Zelensky and Ukraine have been fighting the war of the future. They've already done it. They pioneered it. But Donald Trump attacks Zelensky. The Trump kids attack Zelensky. Don Jr. attacks Zelensky. Don't get the help from Zelensky is the one who could actually offer the help. And the Trump kids are like, well, could we get that Ukrainian technology so we could put them into our drones and then sell it for money? That's this family. They're always a bunch of grifters. Or just buy our drone technology, not Zelensky. That's how they see it, as a profit-making endeavor. It's sick. It's sick. A drone maker backed by Trump's two oldest sons. It's trying to sell Gulf countries while they're under attack. The sales drive by Florida-based Powerus, which announced a deal last month to bring Eric and Donald Trump aboard, positions the company to potentially benefit from a war their father began. These countries are under enormous amounts of pressure to buy from the sons of the president, so he will do what they want, said Richard Painter, former White House ethics lawyer under George W. Bush. This is going to be the first family of the president making a lot of money off this war. Powerus co-founder Brett Velkovic told the Associated Press that the company is making sales pitches that include drone demonstrations in several Gulf countries to show its defensive drone interceptors could help them ward off Iranian attacks. Our team is doing many demos across the Middle East right now for our interceptors, Velkovic said in a text exchange. We have very incredible tech that can save lives. The Trump brothers' deal with Powerus could give them sizable equity stakes. But Powerus denied there are any conflicts of interest here. Well, as we obviously head into Easter, let me just share with you what Pope Leo XIV is saying. The cross is part of the mission. The imperialist occupation of the world is disrupted from within. The violence that until now has been law is unmasked. The poor, imprisoned, and rejected Messiah descends into the darkness of death. Yet in doing so, he brings a new creation to light. It's pretty clear what that message is directed at. As noted before, as Donald Trump has shut down the White House, as he's hauled up in the White House, kicking out the press, 26 generals and admirals in 14 months. No misconduct cited for a single one, as Shanaka Pereira explains. A former Fox News Weekend host who never held a senior military command has removed the Joint Chiefs Chairman, the Army Chief of Staff, the Commander of the Army Transformation and Training, the Chief of Chaplains, and at least 22 other senior officials from the most powerful military on earth. He blocked 4 Army officers from promotions to Brigadier General, 2 black men and 2 women by unilaterally striking their names from a list of 36. When Army Secretary Dan Driscoll refused to remove them, Hegseth did it himself. No hearing, no review board, no Senate consultation. The names were struck because the man who reads the list decided they should not be on it. And now Army Secretary Dan Driscoll, who was an ally of J.D. Vance. Many people say that he's going to be fired next. And the Iranian social media, they see what's happening. They post a photo of all these admirals and generals who have been fired, and they write, the regime change happened successfully. MAGA with a smiley face. There you have it. Hit subscribe, help us get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.